Hi guys, try to set up. Hi guys, welcome. You guys are forever, always time conscious. Hi guys. Thank you for joining. Hi, I'm Olubukola. Hi, Nayo Star. Thank you for joining. Share to your friends. Put it on your story, on your WhatsApp statuses. The Adado 11 is what is life. Hi, Precious. Promise. Emiola, thank you for joining, guys. So, why not hi? Oh, Cheesy, thank you. Yeah, it's 5 on the dot, 5:01 actually. So let's invite our guest speaker. I did send her an invite. Okay, inviting her again. Let's hope she accepts this time. Genevieve. Hi, Genevieve. You need to accept my invite. Can you see my invite? Accept it. I'm sending it to you again. So I've invited you, Genevieve. So I think you have to accept something.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
Look at my beautiful friend.
How are you? Good to see you.
Oh, you look good, darling.
You're good. I love your braids.
Thank you. Left a low cut gun.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
How are you? So good to see you again. It's been a while.
I know. It's so good to see you too. I know. It's been what? How many? It's been up to a year now, isn't it?
Up a year since our last trip, isn't it? It's
I
been a
know.
while.
We need to find another one.
It's
I'll leave that to you because you're the king of planning. So
you know that. I got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know she's pretty. Look at my gorgeous Legion.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good to be here. Thank you. So I'm just gonna give everybody say 2 minutes more for people to join,
Right.
so that once it's 5:05, we get started.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that works. Yeah.
I have your questions ready. I hope you're ready for us.
I think so. Fingers crossed.
Okay. Okay, guys, share, please. Share to your friends. And I hope you guys have your questions ready as well. So you can start dropping your questions down so that later on, we can either do it 2 ways. We can say it as we can answer the questions. Sorry, what's the topic of the live? Okay. So majorly, the topic for the live session is how our guest here got multiple job offers in the UK after she completed. Was it before or after you completed your master's?
Just before my graduation.
Just before she graduated. And guys, this is not just anyhow job. The big four, bust my bubble. So she's going to share experiences with us about how she got not just one. She got one and she's like, okay, I'm done here. I'm moving to the next best thing. So guys, that's why we're here today. Yeah. So that's why we're here. So this is majorly for those who are in the UK at the moment, not even necessarily in the UK, diaspora in general, because I think same thing applies everywhere, as well as those that are willing or hoping to come to the UK. Or even if you're not planning to come on the study route, you can get jobs before you even leave your home country. A lot of people are getting jobs, but she came in as this. But I'm going to let her do the honors of telling us all that. Don't let me take it from her. So we have just 1 more minute and then we're good to go. Yeah. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Diva Maka. Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Amaka.
So that's why I think there's a place where you can title the live. Well,
Thank you.
now. Yeah. Okay. Super proud of you, Jen. Yeah, it's time. So hi, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good whatever, wherever it is you all are. It's nice for you to all be here and on time at that. I do not take you guys for granted. So my name is Adedoyin. I am a Nigerian UK. I'm a Nigerian living in the UK. I'm a content creator, and I share content based on education, based on travel, lifestyle, here and there. So basically, with my content, I try as much as possible to change the narrative, to push, the idea that, okay, real people, real results, and the fact that, okay, the fact that, oh, people aren't succeeding in this particular thing doesn't make it a norm. There are people out there that are succeeding in their education, that are succeeding in their career path, and you shouldn't be left behind as well. So that's the narrative that I'm trying to push. So this evening, I have the most amazing, beautiful, friend of mine, Genevieve. I'll allow her to do the introduction. Genevieve, please.
Yeah. Okay, I think I lost you.
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Hi, Jenny. Hi, everyone. So this is Genevieve. I'm a senior consultant with EY within the field of sustainable finance. I currently live in the UK, London to be precise. And yeah, I'm happy to be here, and hopefully I'm able to share one or two nuggets that'll be useful to you all.
Okay, Genevieve, a call is desperately trying to get into my phone. That's why y'all keep losing me.
Okay, so join in on the call or no?
No, it's fine. I'll call personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Genevieve, tell us, when did you come into the UK and what route did you come into the UK with?
Right. So I came into the UK in 2021, February 2021 to be precise, and I came in as an international student. And basically, I felt that it was a good time to sort of like advance myself and upskill myself further, which is why I went on to the MBA program in University of Southampton. That went really well. It was very intense, to be fair, to be honest. It was for about a year long, and you know how it is, you do the 9 months, blah, 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 and then the other 3 months, your thesis and all of that stuff. So yes, I did my master's in the University of Southampton. I then finished that, and yeah, since then it's been one journey to the other.
Guys, what Genevieve forgot to tell you is that she finished with a freaking distinction. She finished with a distinction, guys. Like, yes, that is not a small feat at all. Like, beauty and brains, bust my bubbles. So I'm so proud of you, Genevieve. I'm proud of you and all that you've achieved in a short while. Yeah?
Thank you so much.
I think you mentioned it already. What course did you study at the University of Southampton?
Right, so it was an MBA, so a Master's in Business Administration, which is like a business module or a business program that most people would do if you have like, let's say like a bit of professional experience. So for me, I had like, before my MBA, I had like 4 years professional experience. So I felt that, okay, cool. I have a bit of professional experience, and then, I have my bachelor's. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. There's a background noise. I'm not sure who that is. Yes. So I was like, okay, yeah, it's time to do my MBA. It's time to take this further. And yeah, that was my journey. And like you said, I had a distinction. It wasn't easy at all, to be honest. It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of dedication, commitments. I was having classes on weekends and whatnot. And you know how it is now. I'll call you. I'm like, I'm going through a lot. This is intense. It was super intense. It was super intense. But it's all paying out now. Is all I feel was worth all the sacrifice and all the commitment and dedication.
I agree. Okay, so that brings us to the business of today. Could you share with us, enlighten us, how did you go about getting your first job in the UK?
Right.
First main job. I didn't mean all the other jobs.
I get it. Okay. So my first job in the UK was the role that I got with Deloitte. Which was an AM position, so an assistant manager with Deloitte. So Deloitte is part of the Big Four, so the Big Four are the auditing professional services firm in the world. And for me, I was really happy when I got that, And it was a lot of process. And just to give you the details in terms of how I went about it, I think the first thing that I did was to make sure that my CV or my resume was up to date. and was, you know, in a good position. So I did a lot of iteration, you know, lots of adjustments, lots of reviewing and modifications, and also trying to share that with my wider network to make sure that the content in there is what it should be, you know, because obviously the market is so saturated and whatnot, and you need to make sure that you stand out in the market. So that was my first assignment. So trust me, it was a lot of work, because people think working on CV is easy, but it's actually intense if you do it the right way. You know, I was on calls with lots of people for about 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, just trying to review my CV, trying to make sure that I had the right content, like I mentioned. So I think the first step would be having the right CV. It is super important, because let's not forget that your CV gets to these recruiters even before you have a chance to talk with them. So you need your CV to be in a very, very perfect position or perfect state. Good is not enough. It needs to be close to perfect. So there needs to be less grammatical errors in your CV. There needs to be, you know, enough information and not too much information. So it's all about finding the balance. So you need to make sure that you have the right content in there. And what I normally tell people is to make sure that your CV is no more than 2 pages. I feel like if you start having like 3 pages, you know, 4 pages, it's just too much, especially if you have like a limited, a short professional years of experience. So for me, I had about 4 years. So mine was just a 1 standard page CV. So I think that was the first thing that I did. So I made sure that was okay. And another thing that I did was networking. I really went far and wide in my networking. So, you know, I reached out to people on professional networks such as LinkedIn. I connected with people. You know, you can take me as that nuisance, you know, other person, because I'll literally jump into I think LinkedIn is one of those platforms that I'm very like proactive, very forward, and all of that stuff. Because you know, you need to take these things into your own hands. No one is going to give it to you. So so on LinkedIn, you know, I'll reach out to recruiters. I'll also reach out to the wider network, and in reaching out to them, I'll reach out to them like someone that has value to offer. So this is my area of expertise. This is what I've done. You know, I'm looking for roles like this, blah blah blah. You know, how can we sort of like connect and, you know, work together? So you reach out to them like you're trying to bring value to them. And but essentially, you know what you want, you know what you want from that. And also, I also try to reach out to people in those organizations that I saw myself in. So that is really important. So for instance, I reached out to people in Deloitte even before I started working in Deloitte. I reached out to people in EY even before I started working with people in EY. So if you're trying to work with people like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or whatever the case may be, it's really important to network with them ahead of time. So you just try to, you know, get a sense of what the work culture is like, to get a sense of what the, you know, the intensity of work would be like, you know, just to get a sense of what your prospective future company would be like. So for me, networking was super important. And also, most importantly for me, would be direct applications. I always encourage people to send in your applications far and wide. Do not limit yourself. Do not wait on the recruiter. Do not wait on any agency or anything like that. Like, go onto the website, go onto the careers platform, and click, submit. Tailor your CVs to the position you're trying to get into, and just shoot out as much applications as possible. And you would get some rejections. You would get standard. But keep going. So yeah, these were all the things that I did to land me my first job in the UK, which was with Deloitte as an assistant manager, strategic initiatives. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that broad explanation. I was going to ask how you strategically position yourself for this role, but I feel that you've already, you know, told us about it already. Yeah. So that brings us to the next question. So MBA, would you say that your MS, that's not MS, would you say that your MBA degree, so to say, aided you getting this job with Deloitte?
So if I heard you correctly, would you say my MBA helped me in getting my job with Deloitte?
Yeah.
In hindsight, I would say yes, it did help. It's really important in terms of like the modules or the course that you study or the program that you study in university. is so essential for me, and it's worked for me. So I would say yes, it did work, because the MBA is a really, really mature program, and it's also like a business related program, and it's a program that has to do with business, that has to do with strategy, that has to do with finance. Like, it has a lot of variety in it. And what that does is that it doesn't cage you in a particular field. It gives you more options in the job market. So for me, essentially, that is what I wanted. So yes, I would say the MBA did give me a bit of an advantage in getting into these companies. Yes.
Okay. What did you study in your undergraduate level?
Okay. So for my undergrad,
did that come to play as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's a really good question, because I feel like at the end of the day, they all are intertwined.
Yeah.
They all work together. So for my undergrad, I studied economics. I covered at university back in Nigeria. And what that did, again, was economics is not a narrow field. It's not a niche area. It's a very broad area that you can fit into different industries. You can fit into oil and gas. You can fit into financial services. You can even fit into tech. Economics is so. From the start, I think my starting strategy was to always be or study a program that would allow me fit in different industries, regardless. So yes, that did help. That did help my thinking. That did help my analytical skills, because economics is a very analytical course or program. So that really helped. So yes, I would say all of those things, or all of those different parts of my journey, is what has brought me to where I am today. So they all feed into each other.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. So tell us, Genevieve, what were you doing back home? Where did you work? What did you do? Did this experience also help us? Because this is our job. Did it help us in securing this job?
Yes, really good question. Really good question. So like I'm a firm believer of the fact that, it all works together, towards a common end or a common, purpose or output, or wherever the case is. So yes, they did contribute to that, I believe, because if I hadn't had those prior experiences or prior professional experiences, I wouldn't have been able to get into these companies as an experienced hire. Because I didn't get in as an undergrad or recent grad. Sorry, I got a call coming in, so I had to cut that off. So yes, so that works. So back in Nigeria, I had bits and bits of experiences. So I had worked with an asset management company where I worked as an investment analyst, and essentially that was portfolio management, portfolio analysis, bond market, stock market, which is your capital market, so debt capital market and equity capital market. So I did a bit of that in that space, and I also did things that had to do with regulations as well. Working with a listing company where companies would come and list their funds or their instruments and whatnot. And I did work with the banking sector, as well. So I would say I had a bit of cross experiences across the sector. And that sort of like gave me an extra boost in the labor market in the UK, because now I'm coming in as someone with a variety of knowledge across different sectors and different industry, and not just a recent grad or something like that. Which is why when I applied for senior positions in this company, I was very confident in the fact of my capability and my ability. I had something to bring to the table. So yes, they did play a role in helping me land these jobs in the UK.
Okay, that's amazing. So the big question, Deloitte to EY, how did you do it? What was the motivating factor? How did you do it? How did you go about it? What's your current role now at EY? Right. So guys, what I mean is Genevieve left Deloitte, which is also one of the big four, to EY. So she's going to tell us now how she did it, how she went about it, what motivated her to make the big move. And I'm aware that the role at EY is even a more senior role to what she was in before. So take it away, girl.
Thank you. I think that's a really loaded question, and moving from Deloitte to EY was such a huge transition for me. People would say that moving between big fours is a natural transition, but for me, it was a big transition given the sensitivity behind it in terms of sponsorship. So, one has to be really careful about that. At the time where I made that move, very little people had full information of how to do that. I think I called you during that time or something. Very little people had information on how to do that. At what point is the right time to do the switch? Is your sponsorship going to change? What is going to happen basically? So it's such a sensitive topic. But for me, because of the fact that I always knew what I wanted and I always knew where I wanted to be, I didn't let that stop me. So regardless of the fact that I had very little information, I kept pushing, I kept asking, I kept researching, I kept Googling, I kept calling. Like, I was basically using a combined resources to get me to my end, or to the end at that time, which was EY. Now, that is like the immigration side of things. Now, in terms of the professional side of things, I'm trying to categorize this so it's really clear. The role at Deloitte was a good foundation for me, especially given that it was the first major job in the UK. So it was a good experience and good exposure in the European market, or in the European sector, because I felt like it was a cushion period for me. So if at all I wanted to make any mistakes, not that I intentionally wanted to, but it was a safe haven to sort of like learn. It was a safe haven to also make mistakes, get familiar to the work culture as well, get exposed to certain things, because it varies. At the end of the day, we're Nigerians and business is done differently in different parts of the world. So for me, Deloitte was that safe space where I could do all of that and I could learn as much as possible. And what that was that I was not complacent. I was not, regardless of the fact that I had that role, I wasn't complacent. I knew there was more. I knew I wanted more. So I kept going, essentially. And what I did was to send in applications. So I was still applying for jobs. So regardless of the fact that I had a well-paying job in Deloitte, and I had a good position in Deloitte, and I had what most people would want to have at Deloitte, I didn't let that stop me. I was still applying for jobs in EY. I was still sending in, applications. I was still talking to recruiters. I was still exploring the labor market. So for me, I kept doing that until I had a breakthrough. So the first time that I actually sent in an application to EY, I got rejected, and I didn't let that stop me. I went back again. I applied to the same role, to exactly the same role, because for me, I didn't want to get anything short or less than what I wanted. So I applied to the same role again, and then I started to have a breakthrough. So the first time I had an initial introductory call, and then the second stage I had like an interview with the manager, and she was so impressed, and they passed me on to the last stage where I had the chat with the partner, the directors, and whatnot. And in less than 20 minutes, I got a call saying that, I have the offer. I was like, okay, that was quick, and then I took it. So yeah, that was the process for me. And then having moved from Deloitte to EY, of course, all being Big Four, that helped me to settle in a bit better. Because now I have a taste of what the labor market looks like. I have a taste of what it looks like to work in a Big Four professional services firm. It was a lot better for me. So it was a smoother transition as opposed to just going in directly. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you very, very much. Like I said earlier, I'm super, super, super proud of you. Well done, darling.
Thank you.
So, as a follow-up to that question is the next question, which is, from your experience in this particular role that you're in, what do you think other candidates or like aspirants, aspiring students that want to transition into the labor market needs to know? Yeah, so 2 Big Fours on your resume. A queen. I stand. I stand. Yeah. Okay. So did you get the question?
Yes. What do they need to know if they're trying to...
Based on your experiences so far, I know that it's barely recent. So what do you think candidates or like aspiring candidates needs to know based on your experience on this role?
Yeah, okay. So to get into my role, or just to get into...
To get into your role, and then if you can share to get into the labor market, or maybe
Okay. I'll start off with my role. So what I do is basically advisory. So I'm a senior consultant, And what I do is literally trying to advise the financial services industry in how they can integrate ESG into their portfolios, into their financial decisions, into their strategy, whatnot. And this is a relatively new area, given that it started in the 1970s. So there's lack of standardizations, it's ever evolving and ever moving. So you always have to keep up to speed. So the first thing that I would say, if you're trying to get into this role that I'm in as a senior consultant in sustainable finance, the first thing that I would say is to know where you want to play. And saying that, I mean that it's a large ecosystem. It's a large universe. You can play different roles in this universe. So it's either you want to do like maybe an advisory or consulting, or probably asset management, or even investment banking or private equity. It's a whole array of roles. There are a whole array of roles that you could pick. So first thing, where do you want to play? So if you're able to figure that out, I would say do a self-assessment, do an evaluation. Is there a knowledge gap? If there is a knowledge gap between what you know and what is currently ongoing in the market, then you need to upskill yourself. You need to upskill yourself, and in doing that, you can register with free, there are so many free courses or free platforms out there where people can even register and learn. So like Udemy, Coursera, or you can pay for like short program executive programs in these universities. That could be a 6 weeks program, or a 4 weeks program, or anything, so you need to upskill yourself. You need to get familiar to the market. You need to know what's happening. So for me, moving from Nigeria to the UK, there were loads of differences. There was a gap that needed to be filled. Okay, so I had to do lots of reading, lots of upskilling, trying to catch up with what the regulations are like here in the UK and things like that. So you need to upskill. You need to get familiar to the market content, the industry market, content, and all of that stuff. Then, in general, if you're trying to get a role in the Big Four, I would say what you need to do is keep your ears, your eyes, and everything out there. And open. It needs to be open. So you need to literally be on their careers portal. You need to go for networking events, go for all types of networking events. Do not be picky, because you never know. You never know where the breakthrough is going to happen. So network with people you might not know. It might even be a position that is available, but it's not open yet on the portal, and it's only connecting with someone internal that and also you might be able to get like internal referee, which even helps. I've given loads of referees to people that I know, so that helps as well. So the only way you can do that is by connecting and reaching out to people. And also what I would say is prepare yourself. Try yourself out, do preparations. Practice makes perfect. There's a popular saying like that. You prep yourself, even if you fail on one interview, keep prepping yourself, keep developing yourself till you master it. And once you master it, it's game over. Like it's game over. At the end of the day, is how well you're able to sell yourself. How well you're able to sell yourself to these recruiters, how well you're able to sell yourself to these interviewers. So you need to connect with the company, and you need to show your personality as well. So I find that what I see is most times people go for interviews and they don't let their true personality shine. So be yourself, be charismatic, be the sweet person that you are. Just relax and have fun while at it. So I feel like if you're able to do all of these steps, you would definitely be able to land a really good job in the Big Four.
Thank you so much, Genevieve. Like, take over this live session. This let me just be listening. I can listen to you all day, girl. I'm so inspired, and I'm sure that many people, like I can see their comment section, they're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay. So another one that I have for you is: do you think? Because I know that you left me here in Southampton to go to London. It's okay. I forgive you. I forgive you. But so do you think, like, when people are looking for jobs, they should cage themselves and say, oh, I don't want to leave Birmingham? You know, do you think location should, like, determine your job search? Does location matter at all in job search?
That's a really good question, actually. I would say it depends. So it's on a case by case basis.
Okay.
So I would use myself as an example. So I knew exactly what I wanted. So I knew that I wanted to work in the city. You know, I knew that I wanted to work in London. You know, I knew I wanted to work in the likes of Canary Wharf, you know, Central London and whatnot. So I knew, so I knew the type of companies that I wanted to be affiliated with. This is where I'm going to find them. This is where they are. This is where I need to go to. So for me, I was really strategic about that because I wanted to be in the heart of London. And that was what I did. And that was how I walked towards the location. So someone said city girls off. Yeah, city girls off. So yeah, so for me, I was really strategic about that. So you could say that location did play a role for me in my decision making. However, for the next person, it might be different. They might not find the need of being in city. They might think city is too clustered or London is too busy. Oh, I can't have a family there. You know, it could be different things. And so I would say it's on a case by case basis. So if you know the type of job that you want and you know the type of area that you would normally find them, then go for it. So if you think it's not going to be in city areas, then don't go for city areas. But if you think it's going to be in city or in the heart of London or wherever in the world you are, you might be in Manhattan or wherever you are, just go for where it is. So for that, I would say is on a case by case basis. But I find that in these central areas, you have more opportunity there. So there's more opportunity for you. There's more opportunity for you to keep growing. There's more opportunity for you to transition from one job to the other. So for me, that was what I wanted. And yeah, you could say it's happening, I guess.
Well done, well done. Thank you so much, Darlene.
Thank you.
So, well, second to the last question that I have for you, I can see different questions here already. Is education a scam? Simply put, is education a scam? Would you say that you studying in the UK or studying in the UK in general, is it worth it? I know that it's very expensive. I mean, it's hard to hear. So, but would you say that despite the expenses, the costs that are involved, is it really worth it?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. So I'm gonna try to take two sides on this. So some people would say education is really important. Yes, regardless of how much it costs, go for it. You're gonna reap it. I mean, I've seen people reap from investing heavily. And when I say heavy, I mean really heavy in education. I've seen people even taking like being on heavy debt, you know, in terms of taking loans and whatnot, just to get them to the type of schools that they want to be. I've seen that happen. I've seen people reap a lot of returns from those heavy investments, you know. So for instance, they get into the likes of McKinsey, the likes of BCG, the likes of Goldman, and the like. So it's literally opened doors for them. So I've seen that happen. However, I've seen people that have also taken this stance and this position, but haven't gotten that return. So what does that tell us? So from what I can deduce from this, education is a factor, but ultimately depends on you. So it depends on you and I. So you might have the right education, you might have the right opportunity, you might have the right exposure. That could get you to the door. But to then go in and stay in, it depends on you. So that being said, conscious of the fact that education can be really expensive in the UK, I'd just like to put it out there to people so they know that there are different ways to cut down on this cost. So for instance, getting a scholarship. So I was awarded a scholarship based on my you know, academic merits and whatnot. So I would say try to tap into scholarships. You know, there's so many pots out there, scholarship pots or scholarship funding schemes out there, maybe provided by your government. You might not be Nigerian, you might from anywhere in the world, or from UN, or from things like that, or even from your university. So try to find out what these scholarship opportunities are. Keep your ears to the ground, keep your eyes to the ground, like stay focused, stay informed, and reach out to the student unions, reach out to the student network, try to know what's out there, especially for I just saw someone's comment.
Yeah.
So try to stay informed, try to key into those funding opportunities there to try and reduce the cost, and also plan budgets and whatnot, and essentially that will help you to cut down the cost. I mean, pounds is heavy, pounds is not cheap.
Okay, thank you. So lastly, Genevieve, what are your, you know, final words to international students, because these are majorly those that are next on the ladder, so to say. So what are your final words to like international students who are already frustrated with rejection mails? It has become a norm. You send 20 applications, you get 21 rejections. So to say, what are your final words to them? You know, yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay. My final words will be that I sympathize with you. I completely understand it. The job market is intense. It's not a child's game. Like, it's intense. Like, people say applying for jobs is a full-time job on there's a reason why people say that. So I completely there's a reason why people say that. So it's a law, and it's something that you have to really brace yourselves, and you have to persevere, you have to be resilient, and you look at it in the way that you've started already, so you might as well just finish it, okay? So there's no point being stuck in the middle. Like, you have to move. So it's either you move forward or you move backward. So that's the way I look at it. And I'm like, I'm in already, I might as well just finish it. So if you're out there applying for jobs and you're getting frustrated, just know that you're not alone. It's part of the process. You have to keep going. You have to persevere. Like, it's an art on its own. It's a full-time job. Someone said, did you get rejection emails? Yes, I got loads of rejection emails. I got loads of, like, sometimes, like, I already see it coming. I'm like, yeah, we're sorry to inform you. We regret to inform you. Unfortunately, at this time, I got loads of them. But I didn't let that stop me. You have to keep going. You have to keep sending it. What I told myself was, if I got 5 rejections, I'm sending in ×3. So 15 is going in. Like so that was my mantra, and that was how I kept going. So if I remembered the number of applications that I have out there, that means I'm not doing enough. That was what I told myself, and that was what, you know, my support system also told me as well. Genevieve, you need to detach from these applications. If you're able to remember them very often, you're not putting in enough out there. Just send in as much as possible. Just keep doing it. You have a breakthrough. It's not easy, and do not believe. I find that people listen to a lot of things and then get discouraged. Yes. Like, for instance, oh, there's nothing out there. Oh my God, it's so hard to get a job in the UK. There's nothing there. You know, you tend to get discouraged. Be really careful on what you listen to, on who you pick your advice from. There are jobs out there. There are so many jobs out there, like hundreds and thousands of jobs out there. You just have to keep going. You have to keep pushing your applications. You have to keep talking to the right people. You have to keep networking. You have to keep improving yourself so you can be employable in the labor market. Is so important. So what I would say to them is, do not give up. You've started already. Do not give up. Keep going. There's going to be a breakthrough. And do not forget that even the rejections you've gotten is also part of your experience. Even the interviews that you've interviewed in and failed is also part of your experience. It's a learning process. Because what I found was that at the initial stage, when I interviewed for positions, I wasn't doing as well as the later stages. Sorry, I think I lost you there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what I realized was that at the
I can
beginning
hear you.
stage,
Yeah.
okay, I can hear you as well. So what I realized was that at the beginning stages of my interview process, I wasn't doing as well as later stages. So keep doing it. You're gonna get better, and eventually you master the art. You master it, and you become so good at it that if they wake you up the next morning, you can basically impress them, and you get the job. So keep doing it. The rejections are part of the story. The failing of the interviews are also part of the story. I mean, I've gone for a market sizing interview back then in the day, and I missed it. But guess what? I took it as a learning point for myself, because then I knew what to do better. I knew my areas of improvement or areas of strength, and I picked up on that, and I worked, and I ran with that. So do not be discouraged. Always have a support system. It's so important, especially here in the UK. You need to have a support system. You need to have someone that encourages you, or a network or a community that you can, I mean, if you get frustrated, you can just call and be like, oh my
It is
God, I got
everybody.
10. Yeah. You need to have that person or those people in your life just to keep you going. It's so important. So that's what I would say. Don't give up. You've started already. You might as well just finish it, and finish it well.
Thank you so much, darling. Well said. You couldn't have said it any better. Thank you. So now we had some questions that dropped whilst we were,
Right.
So I'm just going all the way to the top so that I get everybody's question in. Look at my gorgeous Jen, of course.
Oh my God.
Good evening,
Jenny,
everyone.
I don't even look as half as nice as you look right now.
To me, she doesn't. She doesn't.
You look amazing.
Okay, super proud of you. This is so inspiring. Thank you. Greetings from Mykonos or Mykonos. Oh, thank you. That's nice. Oh, our fan base has increased. That's great. Yeah. Okay, so somebody said, hello, Jen. Your previous work experience before your MBA was in which field?
Oh, yeah, so it was in asset management. I mentioned that. It was in banking.
I think you
as well.
mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're so inspirational. Thank you. 2 Big 4s on your resume, a queen, period. Okay, thank you. Udemy and what, please? But I think somebody answered that already.
Yeah,
Coursera.
That's Coursera. Yeah. You get loads of free courses there. So, yeah.
Somebody says she wants to be like you when you grow up. Me and you both.
Yeah.
Please shed more light on crafting a personal story.
Yeah. Okay. Personal story. That's a really good one. So is that like the tell
I
me
think it
about
has to do
yourself?
with when you said selling yourself, like being original.
Oh,
Yeah, because that was when
yes, absolutely. So for me, coming from Nigeria, like having like African background, and African background where you see a lot of development issues, sustainability issues. For me, I easily leveraged on that in selling myself to these companies or to these recruiters, because I'm not coming from a theoretical place. I experienced these things, and I'm telling you that I want to be a part of, so you just have to find a way to connect, find a way to connect to the firm. So again, the firm that I work with, they're very big on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So for me, I also connected to that. So you have to find factors or elements that you can connect to it, and then elaborate on it more, and then tell your story. Do not I find that when people do this, they do not give off enough energy or enough enthusiasm. You have to sound like you believe what you're saying, because at the end of the day, sometimes it's not about how technical you sound. Sometimes it's about how believable you sound. So you have to sound really believable. So in telling your story, just try to sound convincing. Sound like this actually means something to you. And if it means something to you, trust me, it's going to mean something to them as well.
Okay. Well, thank you, girl. You're so generous. Okay, you're so generous, girl. Thanks a lot. Proud of you, ladies. Thank you. City girls up. London girls. So proud of you, Jen. there's these are the info I want. These are the info I want to hear, not about care homes. Guys, even if it's going to be care homes, do not let that deter your aspiration. Not let that, move you away from your plans, your dreams, your goals.
Yeah.
So that can be
Yeah.
like as an aside whilst you forge ahead and make your dreams
Exactly.
come true.
Yeah.
So somebody can keep going higher, knowing you are funny. Can somebody who is illiterate work for Big Four? So education isn't a scam then. Okay. Now, now they leave UK, we know. This Genevieve would be good at financial analysis and business analysis. Well, nice one. Yeah, thank you.
I might consider it. You never know.
Yeah. What resources can you recommend to keep up with opportunities?
Resources. So would that be in terms of like job opportunities or
Yeah, I
whatnot?
think maybe job sites to apply. That's how I'm meant to put it.
Yeah, I
Yeah, to keep
mean,
up with
what?
opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, I think essentially, like I said,
Mm.
for me, I found that direct application worked for me. Some people found that or find that using recruiters worked for them and whatnot. So in terms of keeping up, you could also use Indeed and the likes. I
Yeah.
think so. They do have lots of postings, job ads there. So you get familiar with them, get up to date, and that could help. And also check their portal, check company's portal as often as possible, and do sign up to the newsletter as well. So what I did was to sign up on the list, so to make sure I wasn't missing out on any opportunity. So once there are like new openings, I'm like part of the few people that get the alert. And then I'm like, okay, this wasn't there last week. Oh, this is new. Oh, I might try this out. So sign up to those stuff, the newsletters and the career notification alerts, so you don't miss out on anything at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Amiola says, I for finish with distinction, but Jesus, but warehouses don't allow me. Well, did you get rejection emails as well? I think she answered that. Yes, she did. If
Yeah.
person tells me about care homes and warehouses after this live video, Olopamako, everybody. Okay. Nah. Okay. How about LinkedIn? Does it add to your breakthrough? Did it add to your breakthrough?
Oh yes, absolutely. LinkedIn is such an important networking professional platform. It's so important. Like I also had to pay for the premium, so I wasn't on the regular whatnot. So I had to pay for the premium so I could get like premium opportunities, premium job adverts, all those stuff. So yeah, for me it was an investment. Once I achieved what I wanted with the premium, I canceled the subscription. So
Yeah.
yes, LinkedIn is so useful.
So please, did you work at all during school time, the part-time jobs?
Not really, but there were still like part-time jobs that we did back then. Yeah, just to keep you going and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, London bills no be here, but I'm single and no pressure. Now big for income fit cure. Okay. I hope you got distinction too. Did you hear Genevieve complaining about London bills? There's a battle
London
happening in
bills
the
are a
comment
lot, so
section. There are a lot though, but I guess they'll
is
pay
it?
equivalent to what you're to where you're living.
Yeah,
What else? What else? Guys,
and the
questions.
tax as
People
well
are
is
just
crazy.
opportunities. Yeah, somebody puts opportunitiesforafricans.com is a good resource for all kinds of opportunities too. Thank you forever, Vivienne. That's very
Yeah.
nice. Which country in UK or you mean which country in UK is the best place to live, or which city? Yeah, okay. I think with cities in UK, that's based on personal experiences. People will say, "Oh, it's better to live here. It's better to live here." But of course, there are some places that are better to live in terms of if you're looking for job opportunities, or if you're looking
Yeah.
for maybe cheap, not cheap, well, because nothing is cheap in this UK. If you are
Yeah.
looking for affordable accommodation, you know. So yeah, there are a lot of things to consider when you're deciding on the city that you want to live in.
Yeah.
So it's not just a one factor decision making process. Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, this has been a really, really amazing session. I enjoyed the comment section. You guys made me laugh so much.
Comment section was lit. It was lit. It was lit.
It was lit. It was lit. I'm glad that it's so engaging, and a lot of people
Yeah.
could like relate to what we're saying, and a lot of
Yes.
people are more inspired by this, which is like the narrative that I'm trying to push out there. Yeah.
Yes.
That if you
Yes.
know, changing the narrative one person at a, that should be my mantra. You know, changing the narrative one person at a time. Yes. So guys, I think we're done. Yeah, in good time as well. We've come to the end of this live session. It was, I keep saying it every week, which is good. It's actually one of my best. The last week was actually one of my best. So like fine wine, we keep getting better and better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much, Genevieve, for agreeing to this live session, for creating time for me and for my fan base from your busy schedule. I do not take this for granted. So maybe hopefully in another 3 months we can call you and say, oh, you know what, there you're now in something more. Because that's how we roll, isn't it? All right, darling. Thank you so much. Were your part-time work focused on this particular area as well? No, part-time work was part-time work. It was part-time work. It was also
Cheesy underscore.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, Joey. I was really happy when you reached out. I'm very happy to be here. I'm happy. I hope I was able to give useful nuggets to the viewers, and I want to say keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a really, 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 really great job. Trying to change the narrative. Trying to encourage more people, to go for what they want, regardless of whatever obstacles are there. So you're really doing an amazing job in changing the narrative. So well done.
I'm happy to be part of fire. Thank you so much, guys. If you have not followed me yet, what are you doing? You're on a locked in. Follow me, because in another maybe 2 weeks or next week, I don't know, we're going to have another amazing life transforming session, as we've always done on this live session.
Yes.
Okay, guys. See you next whenever I see y'all. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for remaining loyal.
Bye.
Bye, guys.